Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to, what am I talking about? I don't actually know. I hadn't worked out what I was going to say before I started the video. I was too busy admiring my t-shirt. Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. It's always a bit of a treat to get into a box for the first time and peel the stickers off something new, something different, something fresh, something that I haven't looked at before on the channel. That's why I'm excited to peel and reveal today's subject, the Glycine Airman DC-4 Purist model. This is the first watch that I've looked at where the hour hand rotates once per day rather than twice per day. That is revolutionary, and the Airman itself is a fantastic model. They first produced this one back in 1953, the same year that Rolex debuted the Submariner, so it's not short of lineage or history, but it doesn't have the Rolex's foreboding price tag. Now, I haven't just bought this, it was kindly loaned to me by a subscriber who hasn't even peeled the stickers off himself. He's a policeman based in Melbourne, and just in case he's undercover at the moment, let's refer to him only as Wilko. Thank you, Wilko. Much appreciated, mate. Let's flip the camera and get stuck into this revolutionary glycine. Well, it seems like Glycine Airman are like buses. You wait 3 years and then 2 come along at once. I've actually got a GMT model variant in the box here in the queue for review. I reckon probably, arguably, the best value Swiss-made GMT automatic on the market at the moment. I'm going to leave that for now and I'm going to crack on with Wilko's DC-4 model. This is a bit of a rare bird. I've had a good look around for these. I'm not sure where he got his from. Can't find too many for sale, certainly not too many at reasonable prices anyway. Nomon Watches in Singapore used to sell them. Perhaps that's where he got his from for around 860 USD. There's plenty on Chrono 24, but the prices there are ridiculous. Mind you, the prices on Chrono 24 are always ridiculous. Alright, let's have a look at this one then, and let's dig into a bit of the model history. So the story goes that the old CEO of Glycine in 1953 was on a Douglas DC-4 plane, hence the name of the model number, DC-4 as you can see there, and he was chatting to the pilot about what requirements the pilot wanted from a watch, what they needed, and they needed the ability to track 2 time zones, including GMT, because all planes take off and land in GMT the world over, regardless of where they are. A couple of months later, the Glycine Airman was born, and it's a model that has been in continuous production since then. Now, this one is specifically the GL0072, and I am going to peel off that big dial protector sticker for you. Oops, I think that was a false dial protector sticker. There's another one underneath. I'm going to peel off that big dial protector sticker for you. And there it is. Lovely, lovely retro look in this one. Very 1950s with those super sharp hands. And I believe that date wheel is red throughout, which I think is a great touch. So the basics then. 42 millimeters in diameter, 50 millimeter lug to lug, 12 millimeters thick, 22 mil lugs, and on this supplied nylon Glycine NATO strap, kind of double pass here, the usual stuff, reinforced. It's a good one, well stitched. If you're going to supply a watch on a NATO strap, then you may as well make it a good one, and Glycine have. This one weighs in at 91 grams. So 316L stainless steel case, dual crowns, bezel, double domed sapphire crystal with a cyclops here, which is a little bit unusual. You can see just a bit of a dome there, cyclops at a slight angle. We've got a display case back as well that I'll show you in a minute. Now, Glycine calls this the GL293 automatic movement. I believe it is a modified version of the ETA 2893, hence 293. They didn't really stretch things too far with this. Glycine offer 2 different versions. You can get a standard 4-hander with a GMT function, or this one based on the same module but where the hour hand rotates once per day. So 2 crowns. The one down here at 4 o'clock, I believe, just locks in that bezel. So we have a bidirectional friction bezel, and believe me, there's not a lot of friction there. That means you can set the second time zone as you see fit and then lock it in, which is great, meaning if you are actually flying a plane or doing something relatively important where it's important that it stays locked in, it does exactly that. And we have the standard crown at 3 o'clock operating the movement. So there we are, pops out, give it a wind, One pull should be adjusting the date function if I roll it back, and yep, you can see what I was talking about, that all red date wheel. I think that is a really, really nice little touch. And if I pull it out once more, it should be adjusting the time, but as I said, in a slightly unusual fashion. One rotation per 24 hours, like nothing else I have looked at on the channel to date. So that is midnight. You can see the date just clicked over. 6 a.m. is where 3 would normally be, so that's 6 a.m. Rolling on, that is midday. Just a little backwards, that is midday. It would definitely take some getting used to, this one, that is for sure. I tell you what, I would happily get used to that dial though. That is a beauty. That is retro ton right for sure. Everything just printed on, but nice and crisply done. I'll obviously throw in some macro here as well. So we have every number 1 to 24. Just to the inside of that double train track, and on the train track we've got minute markers and 5-minute markers. I love the Arabics, very complementary. Different styles of Arabics between the hours and the minutes, but all done very, very nicely indeed. Glycine Airman, DC-4 and Swiss made down there, just beneath the index at 12. Conveniently located AM and PM markers, one either side of the pinion, just in case you forgot how you were supposed to read the time on this one. Matte black, no sunburst, looks legible, looks purposeful, looks very much of the period where this watch first debuted. Nice handset as well. I commented on them earlier on. I think they're in proportion to the dial. I think they're in keeping with the vintage look, and I think they are well executed with a nice lateral metallic brush, adding an extra textural element to the dial. I guess the metallic hands play off that all stainless steel brushed bezel, and as you can see there is quite a bit of purple blue anti-reflective coating on the underside of that double dome sapphire. And there's even a bit of lume on those hands and indexes. I'm going to go out on a limb here, though it's not a particularly long limb, and suggest that it is Superluminova C3 old radium style, though it isn't suggested on the website. There is that kind of yellow Photina look from the dial when it's under normal light conditions, and that's why you get that kind of slightly darker green hue after dark. Let's have a look at the back of the watch. Super shiny, fresh, high polish, stainless steel screw down case back, 200 meters of water resistance, so it's a pilot's watch that's certainly more than capable of getting wet, and because it's supplied on that nylon band, you can do so straight out of the box. So there is the GL293, aka the ETA 2893. Love that custom Glycine Airman rotor with one of the 4 props of the DC-4 and a little bit of vertical Geneva striping there also. So that's a 21 joule hacking and hand winding high beat 4 Hz auto. You should get roughly 40 hours power reserve, same as you do with all the other 28 series derived movements. And there it is on wrist. I've got a 7-inch wrist for your reference, which I'm sure you're well aware of if you've watched any of my previous videos up until this point. I was a little bit concerned that a 50mm lug to lug with the combination of a dual pass NATO style strap, it would be a bit unwieldy and a bit uncomfortable, but I think it wears really nicely and I think it looks good. It would also look crash hot on vintage leather, I reckon, this one. Nice bit of cross stitching, yes please. And that's the proper overhead shot, white on black, well, kind of Photina yellow on black, still perfectly legible and nicely proportioned handset, although I'm going to have to get used to the fact that it's 20 past 12 and not 20 past 6, and so is Wilko. And I guess that is both this watch's biggest draw and this watch's biggest drawback. Nobody's going to buy one of these without the full realization though that they're going to have to do a bit of work. They're going to have to adjust to the watch and get used to learning how to retell the time on a different dial than they're used to. Whether the watch is necessarily worth that or not, I'm not so sure. I think if it was my money, I'd be tempted to go for the GMT rather than the Purist, the GL0071 rather than the GL0072. But I guess if you've got a big collection of watches and you're looking to add something totally different, a relatively authentic reissue in the form of this DC-4, and have a bit of fun with it at the same time by going for the Purist 24-hour dial model, then why not? And judging by how hard it is now to find one of these watches for sale at a reasonable price, it seems there are plenty of people who are prepared to add one to their collection on that basis and on those terms. So there you have it, Glycine Airman DC-4 Purist. I think they got the looks of this one spot on. That is a very, very handsome watch if you're into that 1950s look, which I'm sure Wilko must be. I don't think they're overcharging for that one as well, well under £1,000. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Whether or not I could be bothered getting used to a new way of telling time effectively after quite a few years is another matter, but it's certainly something different to add to a collection. Thanks for watching. I will see you in a future video.